I'm Brownie, and I've seen 86 teams who've played in European finals.
And I'm Paul, and I was once a contestant on Countdown, and this is the third episode of Off the Ball with Browny and Paul. So firstly, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything, and you'll really be helping out the club and doing your bit for non-league football. And coming up in Challenge Brownie and myself will be coming up with our all-time 90s Premier League 11, but with a bit of a twist. We can't use any players from any Greater Manchester club, so that's Bolton, Oldham, Manchester United or Manchester City, or to be realistic, Manchester United or Georgia Kincladze, and also a maximum of 3 players from all other clubs, so it's going to be quite difficult to do. We're also going to have a look at the league allocations for the North West Counties Premier Division for the 25-26 season. But first, we're going to have a look at the things we miss about football. Just things we simply don't see anymore, or things that have changed and evolved over the years. So, not necessarily saying that they've changed for the worse, but we just want to have a nostalgic look back at the things you don't really see that often anymore. So I originally got this idea because a few weeks ago I was watching the last day of the season in the EFL and I realised you don't see transistor radios in the crowd anymore. And you don't get that everyone cheering at the same time when there's nothing else happening on the pitch. And so, because everyone's looking at the phones, which you can understand because we do the same thing as well. So you're not getting that instant roar, like there's just maybe the ball's going out for a throw, there's just players walking around on the pitch and all of a sudden 20,000 people are roaring.
No, everything's just there on Twitter or Live Score, and you can it's just drop of a hat stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, which you can understand. I mean, like I said, we do the same. We wouldn't go back to using that, but I still miss seeing it. Miss the visual of it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, and the sound as well. When, especially if you're watching it on TV, so you really have no idea what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Because they often used to put the camera on somebody in the crowd with the transistor radio as well. No, you just have. Oh no, you just put the camera on the crowd, and everyone's got the phones out anyway.
Yeah, so everyone's just looking down.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, go to the next one. So FA Cup final day.
Oh, FA Cup final day was brilliant. It used to start about 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And I'm like, FA Cup, it's a knockout. And, and on the day itself, they'd have maybe Jim Rosenthal on one of the team coaches interviewing the players. It was a proper day. It was a proper spectacle.
Yeah, so I might have mentioned this before, but I'm 1 or 2 years younger than you. So for me, when I was a kid, I was a kid more in the 90s, and by that point it had moved to Sky Sports. So for me, it started at 8 a.m. with Soccer AM.
Yeah,
back then as well, that was the only game, not just that day, that weekend. It was the only game that weekend in England.
Well, there was no other league games. All the league games had already been played.
Yeah. The season
was over. That was the season finale, the FA Cup final. Now there's a load of league games next week.
Yeah, or the next day from this past weekend.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
True story.
I mean, at least they did do that this year, because in previous years you have seen Premier League games on the same day.
Yeah,
so at least they did move them for that. It's still not the same though.
Yeah, I agree with that. The FA Cup final was a real day.
Yeah, even if the game itself was terrible, it didn't matter. And if it was 2 teams that you had no interest in, you still watch it all, because that's what you do.
Yeah. But it used to be a case that in the old days it was the only game that was on live.
Yeah.
See, my mum always used to say, like in the 1950s, she would always watch the FA Cup final. So they all used to watch it as a family.
Because all they could. Yeah, but now you get hundreds and hundreds of games.
I
think next season on Sky Sports combined, there's about 500 games for the EFL and Premier League combined.
Wow, that's
about 500, because they show all them all the midweek games are on the red button, and they've doubled the amount of Premier League games. I don't think there's hardly going to be any Saturday 3:00's in the Premier League next season.
Well, in a way, is that a bad thing? Because maybe crowds will go up in lower down the divisions
Yeah,
and down the
yeah,
pyramid. So
yeah,
maybe it's not as bad
yeah,
for the likes of us. It's
yeah.
something we could try and tap into.
And we did see an increase at Hayes this season,
We
but
really did.
but yeah, I remember. So for me, I remember on Soccer AM when that had finished one year, Tim Lovejoy would take the match ball via helicopter from the studio to
Yeah,
Wembley Stadium.
yeah,
I thought that was brilliant. You'd have dead list celebrities on there who were fans of each club. So yeah, reporters outside the team hotels who would then be on the coach with them as who come to the ground. The
yeah.
helicopter following the coaches,
You know,
coming on the coming on the pitch in the suits. I always remember Liverpool's famous '96 cream
I was
suit.
at that final. I was
You were
there.
there,
I was there.
but on Sunday I watched the Women's Cup final, and the United players did come out with their suits on
All
beforehand.
right, I didn't
And
know that.
yeah. I wish I
Yeah,
didn't bother watching the game because Chelsea battered United 3-0 in the
yeah.
end. But
I was watching Super Simple Songs on YouTube because of my 2.5-year-old who wouldn't let me watch anything else.
of course
So
it
I
was
did.
because of that. Of
Yeah.
course that's the reason. I believe you.
But I can tell you how many spotty dogs went for a jog. So that's
Shall we talk about that instead?
yeah. Yeah, it's more eventful. What?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
All right. Shall we carry on with the list?
I go on then. We might as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, we've got a few
Well,
FA Cup
while we're
ones on
here.
here. Yeah, we're sticking with the FA Cup, and that's FA Cup replays. We talked about it on the last one,
Yeah,
but it is still something we miss because I think one of the greatest FA Cup games of all time. It was Arsenal versus Man United in '99, the treble-winning season.
I was
It
at
had
that as well.
at Villa Park.
I was there.
Cool, yeah,
I was at the first game and the replay.
nice. I went there because I was 12 years old and no one they won't let me go to Birmingham on my own.
Yeah,
But I watched it because it was on Sky. We didn't have Sky at the time, and I watched it at my
yeah.
next door neighbour's house who was a Leicester fan. Uh, and that, so I will really remember sitting. I'm like on the edge of my seat, and he's like, "Paul, sit back. You're gonna fall off." It was just quite fun because that game it just had everything. It had, the red
Oh,
card, the
yeah,
last minute penalty,
yeah. The
Giggs'
save,
goal,
the goal.
the
In
chest.
fact, in fact. I mean, to be fair, there were some really good goals in that game on
Yeah,
both sides. Without even thinking about Giggs'
yeah,
goal,
yeah.
it was a
Beckham's goal was a cracker at the
absolutely
start.
belting game.
Yeah, I can't remember who
Wild.
scored for Arsenal.
Did Bergkamp score? That was a pretty good goal as
Yeah,
well.
I remember it being a good goal. I just couldn't remember who scored it.
I'm almost certain Bergkamp
Yeah,
scored.
it was definitely
Almost certain.
before Henri joined. So because Henri signed the season after.
I wouldn't have known that. I'll have to
Hmm.
bow to your superior knowledge on that.
Yeah,
I'll,
it's definitely
I'll,
right. Yeah, because Arsenal signed Henri and David Suker about the same time.
oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
liked him.
yeah,
Scored
because
a
he
great
was
goal at Old
kind of
Trafford.
was that in
Euro
what in
'96.
Euro '96? Yeah,
Yeah, against West Germany. Yes, West Germany.
no, Germany.
Um,
Euro '96 was just Germany.
I don't care. They'll always be West Germany to me.
Even now.
Yeah, even now,
Yeah,
and like Macedonia and Serbia and all of those are all
Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia. They can have 6 teams playing at the World Cup. It doesn't matter. They are all Croatia are playing. No, Yugoslavia are playing.
Well, what do you call former Soviet socialist states?
The
Because they
Soviet
can't
Union.
all. Well, so they're all the so if
They're
it's like
all.
Ukraine
Yep.
versus
Yep.
Russia,
Yep.
actually that's a really bad example of that, but
Because that won't happen.
yeah, that won't happen anytime soon. But you get the point. That Soviet Union versus Soviet Union.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, fair enough.
Yeah. That's how it
Yeah,
works. It does
yeah,
in my head anyway, so that's
yeah,
fine. And I'm sticking
and
with
that
that.
yeah, and that's why we miss FA Cup replays.
The fall of communism is to blame for the coverage
Yeah,
of FA Cup replay. Yeah,
I,
all of the
I,
above.
isn't Nani standing for the Portuguese Is it socialist? It might be the Communist Party or Socialist Party are supporting them. I read about
Who
that the
is?
other day.
Nanny?
Nanny, yeah.
Like backflip Nanny? Couldn't get a corner past the first man, Nanny?
Yeah, he had about a good 3 weeks after Ronaldo left and then went to pot again.
And he's like...
I don't want to go on record, but it is right. I did read...
This is slanderous.
From a couple of different places, not just one place, that he's rather standing or supporting. I can't remember if it's a pure socialist or it's actually a communist.
Wow.
I'm going leftwards here. Socialist, communist.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. I'm not sure which side, but yeah.
He's just written his own version of the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah. Forget Marx, you've got Nani. Naniism.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to carry on. This is amazing. This is fabulous news.
We're still on FA Cup replays.
That went out the window a long time ago.
Yeah, we do miss them though. We really do miss FA Cup replays.
Right.
5 minutes later.
Next on the list is CFAX page 302.
Oh, I have got the greatest CFAX fact ever.
Let's hear
Do
it.
you know who the last player to score on CFAX was?
No.
I do. It was... I think he was playing for Nottingham Forest at the time. I might be wrong. Or did he play for Southampton? No, I think he played for Southampton. It was Dexter Blackstock.
Oh, I remember Dexter Blackstock.
Yeah. He scored the last ever goal on CFAX.
What a name.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And what a thing to be associated with forever in your life.
He should have a t-shirt with that page on.
Yeah. Oh, no, he should have it tattooed like across his chest.
Yeah.
Like the whole of that, the last ever page of that, he should have his goal tattooed on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember coming home from school or work, because it was still going when I started my professional life. And the first thing I'd do is put 302 on. I remember before having Sky TV as well, back in the earlier 90s, like, so I couldn't watch Soccer Saturday or anything like that. It was like 314 to see the latest Premier League scores, and then 315 to see Division 1 and Division 2, and I'd just roll through them until like 4:45.
I remember... You used to, if you went to town, if you went shopping, if your team was away and you'd go out, well, my mum and dad would make me go shopping at town. And about 50 blokes at 4:45 would be stood in the window of Dixon's watching the results come in.
That's brilliant.
Honestly,
those are the days.
It was wonderful. Like, no phones. And you were stood there watching the results come in. I think that was more the video printer than CFAX.
Yeah.
But even so,
that's how you had to do it back then.
Yeah. Honestly, that was brilliant. Just watching the results coming on in Dixon's window on Market Street.
You don't even get TVs in shop windows anymore.
No, not in town. They normally get thrown through them.
Yeah. So we can relate that to a football thing. I'm adding that on the list now. TVs in shop windows.
Yeah, I agree.
That.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, CFAX. Right.
Yeah.
Next.
Good times. Yeah. I put 2 strikers up front, so playing 2 up front, because it's usually just one striker these days. So I automatically think of York and Cole, Shearer and Sutton, Wright and Bergkamp. The discussion about if a partnership is clicking up front, if it's not. So I remember there was a lot of discussion back in the mid-90s of Cole and Cantona not working well together. And
I tell you what, with the whole 2 strikers, you don't get or you didn't get, what we do now is, well, I would say one of the worst things in football, the phrase false nine.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean
I'm
the number
still
10? Do you mean the
I'm
big
st-
guy who can hold it up or edit or flick it on?
yeah, I'm still not quite 100% sure what a false nine is.
No, no. I think a false nine is basically a number 10.
Yeah, so just call him a number 10.
Yeah, like a Mark Hughes sort who could hold it up, flick it
Yeah,
on.
Teddy Sheringham, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Oh, false nine.
Yeah. I'll just let you stew on that for a second. I can tell
Oh,
why you.
honest, I'm fuming about that. Whoever brought that into modern parlance should get the chair.
Should I bring that bin in from the last episode?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Okay, next on the list, FA Cup final song. Same with the FA Cup theme.
oh, yeah, I absolutely agree. Football back in the 80s and 90s, it was like there were simpler times, weren't they?
Yeah.
You
I'd
know,
say
how many
more
of these?
90s for me. I was too young in the 80s.
Yeah, but like you had Tottenham always used to have a great cup final song. Always Plinky Plonky, Cockney, Daz and
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah.
You know,
I
I
always
know, I
remember on
know
the
North
video for
London's
it.
not Cockney, but you know, and I
Yeah.
understand that. But it was that sort of, and like they weren't like did you see like these £1 million, millionaire footballers just having a laugh or with their headphones on and just
Yeah, you couldn't see it, could you?
you just
Do you know
can't
what?
know.
When you said that then, the first player who come to mind was actually, and to be fair, he does a lot for his local area, working class area, but I just couldn't picture it as someone like Marcus Rashford. Can you
Yeah,
imagine him doing that? I just
exactly,
couldn't.
exactly. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, he does a lot for his and that's
Yeah, it's
fantastic
brilliant.
and it's
Yeah,
brilliant. And for that part of his life, absolutely, what a guy.
yeah.
But could you imagine him going, "Go on, your heads, go on, your heads"? Can you imagine that? It just be like that.
No,
No, I'm not doing
no.
that.
Yeah, that was actually a great song, the '94 one. That Come On You
Absolutely.
Reds.
Yeah, yeah. And
Do
you,
you
and
remember
you had the other two in
the
the 80s. United had
yeah?
it.
Do you remember the '96 one with Status Quo? When it's Status Quo, they
That
did
was
that
that was
one
that
with.
one. No, that was Come On You Red. No.
Yeah, the Status
Oh,
Quo was. How did that? I remember that was Status
that
Quo.
was Come On You Reds.
No,
94. Was it 94?
yeah, because I remember the lip.
Yeah, because it
Yeah,
got to
actually,
number
no, yeah,
one.
yeah, it did, yeah,
Got
yeah,
to
because
number one.
it was actually in the lyrics. We'll maintain the status quo with Man United. Here we
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
that's
no, yeah,
correct. That is
yeah,
correct. Well, like Tottenham used to like, oh, we're up shots up, then we own six Spurs. Everybody
yeah.
knows we're the football connoisseur, and it was, and
I remember the
everyone
video
loved
for us.
it.
A video for the Spurs one with Ozzy Ardiles. Just he looked
Yeah,
like he didn't have a clue what was going
yeah.
on, but he was
In
having
the
a
cup
great
for
time. Yeah,
Nottingham.
yeah, but he was having a great time though.
Yeah, Aussie's dream. 19. That was 81. That
Yeah.
against City.
I
Oh, that was
remember an
brilliant.
interview in '96, and after United beat Chelsea in the semi-final, is a bit after that there was an interview with Phil Neville. It might have been actually after the final, and he was looking back, and he was
Yeah.
talking about looking forward to the build-up, and he even mentioned doing the song.
Quite right. Quite right.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if the song's terrible. It's better if the song is
Yeah,
terrible.
of
It's
course it
really
is.
supposed to be terrible.
Totally. Totally. But not like some dirge, but like, proper upbeat ridiculousness.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Bring back cup final songs, I
Yeah, I
say.
say bring them back. Yeah, I'd love that. But I bet, that I think these days they're just like going into a studio, they might trip over a wire and get injured.
Yeah.
You can't.
And, and roll over about a million
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Oh,
Next one.
dear.
The next one's more all you because this is one you wanted in. Is the
Go
classic
on.
goalkeeper.
In what way? What was it?
So
Like
you were talking about the shorts and socks.
Shorts and socks, glove bag.
Yeah.
Oh, can we bring glove bags back for goalkeepers?
Yeah, it's my decision.
That's great then. What used to run on, put the glove bag behind the goal, and they'd be wearing a green shirt and the shorts and socks of the outfield players.
I think you should find out when Harry Allen's birthday is and get him a glove bag.
Oh, I might do. I might just buy him one anyway.
Yeah, I think you should. That's not weird at all.
First game of the season, Harry.
Yeah.
I've got you something. Oh my God.
The thing is, though,
I'm going to have a restraining order.
Yeah. To play it safe, I think you should buy something for every player. A sewing kit to do the socks back up.
Yeah, when they're all ripped at the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, goalkeepers in green as well.
Yeah,
unless you're playing for Plymouth Argyle.
Yeah,
or the Republic of Ireland, or Northern Ireland as well. Yeah. And we're just going to name teams here. Rapid Vienna.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, the next episode, we're just going to name all teams that wear green for an hour straight.
No, let's do it now. But yeah, goalkeepers are honestly shorts and socks of the outfield players. 100% that should be. It should be mandatory.
Sometimes it just doesn't go because, like, imagine the shot. They're wearing a green top and like red shorts. It's just
Liverpool. It was fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't a problem. Yeah. It wasn't a problem. If I say Bruce Grobbelaar, you'll picture him wearing green with red shorts and red socks, and you'll go, yeah, it's fine.
And doing his snaky leg thing.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it's fine. I've made it all right.
Okay, we'll carry on. The next one again is one of yours because they're probably a bit before my time. I just wrote it down as the classic World Cup.
Oh, yeah. And my thing with this is that if I was to just randomly show you some film of Mexico 86, you'd go, that's Mexico 86.
Yeah.
If I showed you anything from maybe 2006 to the present day, and I just showed you like maybe 5 seconds or something, so which World Cup's that? You'd be like, I don't know. Could be any of them.
I might
because
get the
all
Qatar
look
one.
the same.
Just because of the time of the year and all that kind of stuff around.
Maybe, yeah, but if it's an evening game, it'd just be dark. But like Mexico 70 looked different to West Germany 74, which then looked different to Argentina 78, and Spain 82 looked different again, and Mexico 86 and Italia, they all look different. USA 94 all look different to each other.
Yeah.
And now it's just they all look the same, and you haven't got Brian Moore sat in a greenhouse somewhere with the tinniest microphone in the world going, I don't know, but like sounding like that rather than, clear like we are now.
It sounded like he was on the phone to him.
It sounded like you were in a nuclear bunker, and that was brilliant. Yeah.
Damn technology, improving technology.
Yeah. Basically, we've got perfect pictures and perfect sound.
Yeah.
And I miss it when it wasn't like that.
Yeah, I kind of miss it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one's not on the list, but it kind of goes there a bit. I miss not having names on the back of the shirts.
I agree.
I mean, we still get it at our level. At least at Hayes, we still get that.
Do you know what? Do you know what my mum said about names on shirts?
What?
And it's of all the things to think of about having names on shirts, she said, they'll make it really hard when they do football clips on a question of sport now. And I was like, in a weird way, you're right. Because you'll be able to see the names on the backs of the shirts. Who scored this goal? Well, Mark Hughes. I know that. I can read. I can read.
Yeah. Because I think the first time it was really seen in this country was Euro '92, I think, and then the first
first World Cup was '94.
Yeah, the first Premier League season didn't have names.
No, you're right.
It started in 93-94 was the first one.
Yeah.
And then it came into the Football League in the 99-2000 season. See, I was
really
kind of
as late as that.
Yeah, I was kind of okay with it just being Premier League because the Premier League was trying to stand out. It was still a new elite competition.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was quite excited when Man City got relegated in '96. I wasn't just excited because of that, but young me liking these weird things. Like I remember Uwe Rosler wore 28 for Man City in the Premier League, and then seeing him wearing number 10 the next season.
Yeah,
because it was only 1 to 11. It was just a bit of a weird sight to see, but I loved it.
Yeah, it's all about football is about aesthetics.
Yeah,
and I'm a big believer in that.
And now it's all the way down to step 2 of the National League, so National League North and South.
They have squad numbers as well.
Yeah, I think half of them, some do and some don't. I don't know if it's optional or not, because I've seen matches, where some of them have just 1 to 11 and just the numbers. But I was watching highlights of Scunthorpe Chester earlier in the playoff final, and both had them on.
Right, okay.
So,
right. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yes.
Fair enough. Who won?
Scunthorpe.
I don't know what to say to that.
They're back in the National League. Good for them.
Yeah, fair play to them. Yeah, well done, Scunthorpe.
Yeah, well done, Scunthorpe.
If there's any Scunthorpe fans watching, well done.
If you are a Scunthorpe fan, put it in the comments just to see if there is any Scunthorpe fans.
Let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
To hear.
Yeah,
it'd be lovely to hear from all of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read the attendance was over 9,000 as well. But about 1,000 odd Chester fans, so about around 8,000, just under 8,000 Scunthorpe fans. So yeah, I want a comment from every single Scunthorpe fan that was at that game yesterday, and all the Chester ones as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to leave you out. Commiserations, by the way.
Yeah, good luck for next year. On an old Championship Manager game, I did get the old Chester City to the Premier League, so you have got that.
Yeah, they're over the moon about it. They'll take that, apparently.
Yeah.
Yep, they've just said it's all right now. Yeah.
After a VAR check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
My favourite signal ever in anything. I think I need to do that more just in my life.
Yeah, just in general. Right, so next on the... God, it's warm in here. Anyway, on the list, it's caring about England games, like non-major tournament England games.
Right, this is your baby, this.
Yeah, this is my bit, because to me, I think it started after we failed to qualify for Euro 2008. I think that's really when it started to go wrong, because go back not just a few years before that, I remember Germany won England 5 and everyone was raving about that.
That was on my birthday, that.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
My 22nd birthday.
Yeah.
1st of September. Whatever.
I remember that. 2001.
Yeah, I was 22.
Yeah. And then a few days after that, we drew 2-2 with Greece at Old Trafford. David Beckham last minute free kick to qualify. Another one that pops out of my head is the goalless draw against Italy to qualify for France '98.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching
Paul Ince, Heroes headband.
Yeah. Gazza's last competitive game for England.
Was it? Yeah, I suppose it was.
Yeah, because he didn't make the finals.
Yeah. God.
I remember that one because I watched that at my grand's. I can't remember because, again, we didn't have Sky at that point. The match was on Sky Sports, and I can't remember if they shown the full 90 minutes. It was either on BBC or ITV, one or the other, and I watched it all at my grand's because my grand was a massive football fan. and I'd been a lot longer than me because obviously she was a lot older than me, and and I was
Sorry.
doing my best to avoid the score before I went to my grand's, and I accidentally saw it with 4 minutes to go that it was 0-0. But I still watched it all, knowing for at least 86 minutes I wasn't going to see a goal. I didn't tell my gran though. Did not tell my gran.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so sweet.
yeah,
You're a good boy.
yeah.
You're a good
I'm,
boy.
yeah, I'm pointing that way, but actually the cemetery's that way, so she's over there. Oh,
Oh my god.
uh,
So go on then. Right. So, Karen, are we
yeah,
talking about sort of like friendlies or?
not
Uh,
particularly friendlies, but I think even now in say Euro World Cup qualifying, it's kind of a
yeah.
given that we're going to qualify, and you can't really say it's a problem, but one of the reasons maybe is because we're always top seed, so we're not playing another major team in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
qualifying. You
Yeah.
might get, say, a Switzerland or a Denmark or something like that, but you're not going to get.
There's not
You
much
could,
jeopardy, is there?
yeah, exactly, and it's kind of a given that we're going to win. And if once we're playing one of the minor teams, if we're not putting 5, 6, 7 past them, it's a failure. But again, it doesn't seem to many people care if we do or we don't. And
Yeah.
I think there's a few ways that that could be maybe not completely resolved, but help turn the tide a bit. Because I think a lot of players as well I might be wrong with this, but it comes across that it comes like it's a bit of a chore to play for England rather than an honour to play
I
for
agree
England.
with that. I
I,
agree with that.
I'd say Harry Kane is definitely not one of them. You can tell
No,
with Harry Kane.
absolutely. But
And
there are
I'd put
definitely
Jordan
others who,
Pickford as another one. I say Jordan Pickford too is another one.
yeah,
But yeah, there are some where they just think it's just something you have to do.
yeah, yeah.
Because I want to hear about, and again, this could improve um, people, or get people to care about it. I want to hear about English players who are on good form and in interviews talking about saying, hopefully Thomas Tuchel sees me play and will consider me for the next squad. Not in them exact words, but you get my point.
No, but yeah, absolutely. You don't hear much of that anymore, do you?
No, no,
It just
exactly.
doesn't, because they're not bothered. They've got so many things that they've got fingers in pies everywhere. They're not bothered
Yeah, and I
whether they
think part of
play.
that is, yeah, I think part of that because a lot of the Premier League now is more of a squad game because they know that if your player's got good form, eventually they're going to be dropped and they're more interested in staying in the team.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think that's it. But yeah, if they talk about hoping that Tuchel will see them play and consider them,
yeah.
that will get more people interested. I think there's two more things that are an issue as well. And one of them, even though this was how it always was in the past anyway, times have changed and moved on. But what was a success before that was a permanent thing was between the two Wembleys when England games were on the road.
You know what? They ought to do that.
Yeah,
They ought to do that again. They probably never will. I mean, I know it's maybe
no.
been done a couple of times. I think is
Yeah,
it
when there's
Italy?
been a when there's been a concert or something at Wembley.
Yeah, and I think it's is it Italy? They have one in three games are played in the Stadio Olimpico, and
Something
they
like
play
that.
them, and the other two games are always played elsewhere in
Yeah.
around the country. Brilliant, and I think a similar thing might happen in Spain, where
Yeah.
I think they play. I can't remember the exact figure, but they have to play at the at the Bernabeu, one in however many games.
Mm. Yeah,
But
because I
they
guess
should
those
do that here. But
countries, yeah, I guess those countries don't have a dedicated national stadium.
correct, correct.
But again, we should still do it here because we've got the stadiums for it.
Yeah,
We can't say we've not,
absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And I think taking England out to come up north far more than they do would be it's beneficial for
for
people who can't
everybody.
get down to London and
Yeah.
can't get to Wembley. You why would you want to come all the way down from Newcastle to Wembley to watch a
In, in,
boring
England against
England?
Albania, something like
Correct,
that. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
If you're doing
AD,
that,
AD, AD would
you're
do.
mad. Yeah, but I mean, I suppose he's slightly further south being round here, but
Yeah,
imagine being another 2 hours up the road
yeah.
and making that trip for
And
you'd be
the
mad.
matches, they seem to be Friday and Monday as well lately. England games. They won't
Yeah,
do that on a
yeah,
Friday
yeah.
night, especially a Monday night.
And if you've got a kid who's in school and and you're taking them out of school to drive all the way down to Wembley, you're gonna get the £60 fine, aren't you?
Yeah,
So it's slightly unfair on the youngsters who maybe would want to go and watch
yeah.
it. But no,
Yeah,
I,
and
I agree.
and if you do that as well, so if say for example I had tickets for an England game in November or something at Old Trafford or the Etihad or something like that, I'm
Yeah,
going to be more inclined to watch the games before then as well.
yeah, yes, absolutely,
Yeah, on
absolutely, and
TV.
not
Yeah,
just watch that one game.
yeah, exactly.
'Cause,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and I think the third thing that'll help, which actually might be quite controversial, I bet a lot of people might disagree with me on this one. So at the moment it's on ITV, and ITV, I forget when England are on because I never really
yeah,
see it advertised that much. I mean, to be fair, I don't really watch ITV that much, but I don't see it anywhere on, say, social media being advertised
yeah,
and other places where you need to advertise these days.
yeah,
But Sky would. So even though less people have Sky Sports, I think it could be more beneficial going back, England games going back onto Sky because Sky Sports has that media machine behind them. They make something like Brentford versus Bournemouth sound like a big deal,
yeah. No,
and
I agree. I agree with
they
you.
would do that, and I think they would do that if it was back on there.
I mean, it's funny because whether an England game was being played, certainly a qualifier, which I used to watch every one absolutely religiously. I don't think it matters now for me, whether it's on ITV, BBC, Channel 4, Sky, TNT, whatever it's called this week. I don't know. I'm not even sure I'd be watching it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the problem in it these days.
So
Yeah, because
I
the
actually
thing is,
don't even know half the England players anymore.
yeah,
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know. Is he called Guy from
Crystal
Crystal
Palace. Yeah,
Palace? If he walked in here now, I'd just be like, right, mate.
would he
I'm not
bring the
even,
FA
well,
Cup with him?
only if he had like a big
Yeah,
cardboard put out with a like all
yeah,
tinfoil
no,
on
yeah.
it.
Even though he's actually just won the real thing, he'll bring a
Yeah,
car.
he will
He'll
bring.
randomly show up in your house with a cardboard FA Cup
I mean, what's
tinfoil.
he doing in my house for a kick-off
Yeah,
anyway?
yeah. This is like, do you remember Harry
Yeah,
Enfield and
not
Chums?
again.
Do you remember the Righteous Brothers in Harry Enfield and Chums? It's like you're starting one of those scenarios. But if he started messing up my living room, I'll be, oi, gay, no, I
I don't
appreciate
even.
your football skills.
See, I don't even know his first name.
Holy Christ, it's gone right on my head.
I don't actually even know his first name. This is.
That's going to annoy me now.
We'll get to the end of the show and you'll just blurt it out.
Yeah. I did get that fourth Scottish team that began with A, though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was A United.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just something from literally 1 month today ago.
Yeah, yeah. Someone asked us a question, and it
Yeah.
was, can you name all four Scottish teams that begin with the letter A?
Yeah,
So
from
we've given you one now. So in the comments,
put
without
the other
Googling
three.
it,
Yeah.
put the other three. No
And if there's
Googling.
yeah, and if there's any fans of any of those four clubs, double comment.
Oh, we want to see you at Hayes. Come down to a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I'll pay you in.
Or I was sad to see Bonnyrigg Rose getting relegated from Scottish League Two at the weekend.
Yeah, I did see
I
that.
and but one thing I found out because I really want to go and watch them next season. It's a long way to near Edinburgh, but I found out they do doner meat pies, and I feel like I need to have a heart attack and eat one.
that actually what a way to go.
Yeah.
A doner meat pie.
At Barney Groves. In what will be a Lowland League game.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
It's what here's what I wanted.
Yeah. I think East Kilbride, I think they'll go up a few leagues as well. I think they might quickly get to the championship. But we've really digressed on every single topic.
We've gone wild here. We've gone rogue.
Yeah.
We've properly gone rogue here.
Well, we've got one more left, and this is the one that you messaged me about last week that you wanted on, and that's captains collecting the trophy before all the other players come up and stood behind and waiting for the away thing.
Get up there. You just give him the trophy. Just give it him. Oh, honestly. All this nonsense of every man and his dog walking past, and there's the technical coach, and there's the free kick coach, and there's the coach driver. And then everyone's there, and everyone's getting a medal, and the last person about 3 days later, and he's knackered, and he's not on a bite to eat because he had to stand there waiting while everyone goes up to get a medal. Hey, lift the trophy, and everyone's it's too weak to lift it, and everyone's like, "Oh."
Do you think because the modern day though, with us doing media for Hayes, would we get to go up if we win a trophy next season?
Oh, I demand it.
Do we get a medal?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's the media team,
Me, you, Rick, and Steve.
Because obviously it'll be on Sky Sports and someone commentating on that.
Hey, if Berry were on there for winning the North West Counties, why won't we be on there
next
season?
Hey, what's good for the goose? What's good for the goose?
Yeah.
I agree. So, but captain should go up there. He gets the trophy and he passes it back.
Yeah.
Or she with the ladies' football. I'm not. Don't all 10 of you write in and have a go at me. No. Well, get the trophy and then you pass it back. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
That's how the Royal Box at Wembley's made as well, because you can see them struggling to get past each other.
Yeah, because they can't get past each other.
Oh. It's health and safety hazard. One of these days, one of them's going to fall over that barrier.
Honestly, and going to end up in a corporate section below and really hurt themselves on those seats because there's nobody sat in them.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else will get hurt because they're not there. So it's,
Absolutely,
that's another.
And I'm going to chuck one more in before we finish this subject, just that I thought of now because of this shirt that I'm wearing. I miss football shirts not being skin tight because I'm quite a big boned guy. It is a real thing, and this shirt is skin tight and it's not very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I regret putting it on.
And it's quite warm today.
Have you ever heard of disco football?
Disco football?
Disco football.
What's disco football, Paul?
Let's show some disco football.
Yes!
Yes. So what do you think of disco football?
I think it should be a regular thing at half-time at Hayes.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be wonderful.
We'd get volunteers to do it. I mean, that celebration on that goal, that was... I actually enjoyed more the other team commiseration. They just went on all fours and started... You know what, though? If
it's a bold move, isn't it?
Yeah, if Hayes conceded a goal and the players started doing that, the psychological advantage we would have.
Do you know what? If we don't do that next season, I think we should be handing fines out.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
honestly,
And I know for the fact,
and I truly
Hutchie and
believe
Lowy,
this.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Hutchie, you'll be watching this. You heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
No
goalkeeper
disco,
as well.
no.
Yeah. The goalkeeper
No
as
disco,
well.
no goal bonus.
Yeah, exactly. The goalkeeper as well. If a player's through on goal and Harry Allen starts doing that, they're not
Honestly,
going to score. They're not going to score.
no.
Yeah.
Clean sheets every week.
Yeah. If you don't do
There won't
that,
be a
Harry,
dry eye, but there'll be a clean sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't do that, Harry, you're not getting your glove back.
Yeah. Yes. There's an empty threat.
Yeah, if I've ever heard one. Alright, so we're going to actually go on to something more press switch now, because we're going to have a look at the league allocations for the 2025-26 season. And to be honest, there wasn't really any surprises. There was no lateral moves in and out of the league. We're still at 24 clubs. There was talk at maybe Cheadle and Wythenshawe being moved to the Midlands Premier, so with both leagues go to 22 each, because Midlands Premier are only at 20. But that's not the case. So we've got Atherton, LR, and we've got Exton Villa, which you say really quickly sounds like another team coming up. I did not cotton on to that, because I knew how it was pronounced, but it never cottoned on that how much it sounds like Aston Villa. Never. It has never cottoned on to that until earlier.
Whereabouts are they? I don't even know geographically where they are.
Exton is near Charlie.
Okay, right. Yeah,
so
not far.
I think them against Charlotte Richard will probably be classed as a derby.
Okay, yeah.
And Atherton comes under Metropolitan Borough of Wigan. So it's going that way. It's before you get to Wigan.
Yeah.
So I've always known Crilly Park, Atherton's ground, because when I was a kid and you used to go to Southport on the train, you always went past it.
Okay.
And that big stand they've got there was there back then as well. They've had that a while. So, and I've never been there to watch football, so I'm really looking forward to going there next season.
Quite right.
And we've got City of Liverpool coming down. So
whereabouts are they from geographically?
Liverpool.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah.
In the city.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not on the outskirts.
Oh, I can't remember. Is it Bootle they play at? Oh no, they were there. I think they've gone somewhere else now. I can't remember where though.
Oh, I wish they'd make them.
Where they're playing. Do you know though, in the National League system, there's 3 teams, I believe, that have got the name Liverpool that are all in our league. I think there's a 4th team called Liverpool, but I've never heard of them.
Oh, I wonder where they're from.
No, I've no idea. I've never heard of any. You got AFC Liverpool, City of Liverpool, and South Liverpool. I've never heard of any other Liverpool club.
No. I wish they'd made themselves known.
I thought of that joke earlier, and you kind of spoiled it half an hour ago by mentioning Liverpool because of the goalkeeper shorts.
I was you cursing me like that? Oh.
Yeah, I was cursing you. Yeah, you spoiled my joke.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, there's supposed to be another Wythenshawe Town were supposed to come down as well, but
they've had a reprieve, haven't they?
They have, because Farster Celtic, they were relegated from Conference North, National League North anyway, but they've been demoted down to Step 5 and will be playing in the Northern League East and East League, Northern League East, Northern Counties East, or something like that.
So why is
I always
that
call it the
then?
North East Counties. I know they've had a lot of financial problems.
Okay.
I know they've been playing in Buxton last season.
Right.
They had their pitch dug up, and they were supposed to get one of the plastic pitches put in, and it was quite controversial. It just never happened, and they ended up moving 60 miles away to play their own game in Buxton. Fans didn't follow them. They were getting extremely low crowds.
Yeah.
So they were losing a lot of money. They were losing the players, and it just gone to pot really for them. Alex Patton, who does the Away Days YouTube channel, he actually did a bit on on Farsley Celtic, and to the point where it was even mentioned in Parliament about them, what was going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah,
60 miles is,
it's a long way
if
for a
you're
home game.
if you're an American football team, they do that sort of thing, and
Yeah,
it's
it's round the
like,
corner.
oh, it's just nothing. But
Yeah,
when you're a club of that size, it makes
yeah.
a massive difference. So yeah,
Yeah,
no, I agree.
it's not that far off the distance between Wimbledon and Milton Keynes. It's a bit less, but not that far
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. That's
We all know what
yes.
happened there.
But are they going to be playing back at their their own
I,
ground next season, or
there's still no pitch. Last I
oh,
read, this
okay.
was about. Well, this was last week because Farsley put a statement out on the day the league allocations were announced,
Hmm.
and at that point there was still no pitch, but they were positive about getting one in place. So I'm gonna guess no, at least at the start of the
Right.
season. That's just a guess. Or hopefully they can, because the size of a club playing at step 5 is.
Yeah. We
But
wish
again,
you
it's just
well,
another.
Farsley Celtic.
Yeah, we do.
We
Yeah,
wish you
definitely.
well, because
Yeah,
it's
for
a
the
nightmare for all the
fans.
fans. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the worst thing, I think. And then obviously all the volunteers who,
yeah.
we know we couldn't run without the people who volunteer,
Oh God, no, absolutely not.
around the club. And that's the beating heart of non-league football. And without those people,
There's no
we
non-league
don't have club.
football. Yeah,
We don't have our club. We don't have football. And all you're left with is the giants at the top, who, well, that's that. But yeah, for all those volunteers and the fans who make that club what it is, we wish you well.
yeah, and hopefully something does get resolved and very soon, and you're back playing in your home ground.
Yeah,
Because
I
wasn't
agree.
it? Was it Farsley Celtic that Rudy Masambo was at
He did. He did play for
before?
Farsley Celtic. He
Yeah,
went. He went to
between.
Lancaster, and then I think went to Farsley Celtic after that.
Yeah, now he's
Might
at
have
FC
been.
United.
Yeah.
I assume that's part of the reason he went, because that was dropping down a division as well.
Yeah, maybe. I know Rudy went to Farsley Celtic,
Yeah,
so yeah, there we go.
yeah. Speaking of going up and playing in that league, Rio Clegg signing for Radcliffe. You
Hmm.
know,
I
being top
saw that.
scorer. Yeah, top scorer in the
Yeah,
North. The Northern Premier League First Division West, and now has a chance at step 2. Good luck to the
yeah,
lad. Hope he
yeah.
smashes it there.
Again, yeah. Wish you well. Good on you. Good player.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, not really much else we can say on league allocations, because, like I said, there were no big
There's no
surprises last.
surprises, were there?
No, because I know.
I think the only surprise was the Farsley Celtic thing, and I think Withenshaw Town not going down. I think the reprieve there was.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what happened if Williamshaw Town did come down, because obviously we wouldn't have been able to have 25 clubs in the league.
That's
So,
true.
but then if they then got allocated to the Midlands Premier, then they're going to be a bit annoyed because Wythenshawe wouldn't. So would
Yeah.
both in that scenario, would the FA have put both Wythenshawe clubs in the Midlands Premier?
I mean, it seems crazy, doesn't it, to put Withenshaw Town in the
Yeah.
Midlands League. I mean,
Well, it's crazy having Northwich Victoria and Winsford United there. I mean, they're Cheshire clubs. Cheshire's in the
yeah,
northwest, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in the Northwest Counties First Division South, we have 2 teams from
From
Wolverhampton,
Wolverhampton, yeah,
and we've got
exactly.
and a team from Shrewsbury has just been promoted into it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not Northwest,
No,
but I think it's an because I believe the Midlands Premier League only have one league at step 6, where we have 2. We have North and South,
okay,
so that's
right.
part of the problem. But I guess it's an unintended consequence of having this perfect pyramid of 16, 8,
Yeah,
4, 2, 1.
I'm sure they could work it. I mean, I'm saying I'm sure they could. I don't know, but like, if you take a couple of clubs from there, like, just sort of
Yeah,
There must be a way of doing it.
sort of moving things. It's kind of how it was when there wasn't the perfect pyramid in place.
Yeah,
Because it only seems to be in the last few years, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, it's in this region anyway, where clubs are really not happy about where they're being placed.
yeah.
I like Kendall Town going to the Northern League, and I think they wanted to come back. We know that Northwich wanted to come back into the Northwest Counties, but we knew there was no chance of
Yeah,
that. Both teams that were promoted from the Northwest Counties First Division South both went to the Midlands, have gone to the Midlands Premier League. But I guess that's always going to
but
happen because only 2 teams went down from our league anyway. You'd have to
yeah,
send
true.
4 down, so it was never going to happen regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no teams in the First Division North that could have gone to the Midlands League. I guess I can't think off the top of my head, but I wonder if any could have gone to the Northern League or the Northern Counties East. I can't think. I know in the
Don't
Premier
know.
League, I think Barnsley are quite close. I know
Yeah,
they'd rather stay.
we're nowhere. I mean, you say we're nowhere near, but is Wythenshawe that far south of here?
Well, it's more
That
southeast as well, in
it
it from
is,
here,
yeah.
so it's
But
right in the
like,
southeast of Manchester.
but there you go, the southeast of Manchester.
Yeah, that's the
So to
thing.
put
Yeah,
them in the Midlands League would
makes
be
no sense.
crackers. It doesn't make
It's like
sense. No,
it's like having teams from Wolverhampton in the Northwest Counties. Oh
exactly.
wait,
Yeah.
but that's not to blame the Northwest Counties. It's not to blame the FA. It's just the way
No.
geography in has gone because of
Yeah.
geography. Geography's
Yeah.
gone because of geography. Yeah, how it's gone because of geography. But
Yeah.
the
No, I
the
get
only
it.
yeah
It just seems crackers, doesn't it? That these things happen and it just doesn't quite work. But who are we to say anything? We don't run the FA,
no,
and to be
that's it.
fair, they've got a hard job on their hands, especially when like you've got things like that
Yes,
happening.
and it's
So
not just step 5. You got step 6 and then 4-1 as well. It's
yeah, yeah,
well one. Or I guess for one you don't actually do all in one. But
yeah,
yeah, so. But even at step 2, National League North and South, like there's a lot of very southern teams in National League North these days.
yeah. That's true. That is true. So yeah, it is difficult. I wouldn't want that job.
No, well, I won't be the person who deals with the complaints. So
Yeah, how would you deal with it? I'd just put the phone down.
yeah, yeah, you're
But
playing in
I
yeah,
know, oh no, I'm not
you're
interested.
playing in the Southern Premier. That's it.
Yeah, I
It still
don't
gets me
care
that.
if you.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're from Carlisle.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't care if you're Hibernian, you're playing in the Isthmian League.
Well, not even from your country. I don't
Yeah,
care. Isthmian League.
yeah. Why is the Southern League not the most southern league? The Isthmian League
Oh,
is more southern, isn't it?
yeah, it is. You're right.
Just
I've never
thought, just
thought of
thought I
that.
meant. Yeah, if anyone could tell us that, I think the Isthmian League is an older league. Maybe it might be the. Oh no, actually, I think Southern came first, didn't it?
I've no
I don't
idea.
know.
I have literally no idea.
I know I've read it at one point, but it was a long time ago, and I've slept since then. So.
Yeah.
Right, before we get to the next bit, I'm gonna go. I've got the ball, ref. That was a cracker of a tackle, wasn't it? Goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
save.
Yeah. I think I sent you that, didn't I? I was like, oh, this has got to go in.
Yeah, it was in. It was brilliant. Right, so now we're gonna do our 90s Premier League 11. As I said at the beginning, the rules are we can't use any players from Greater Manchester clubs. So to be official, that includes Oldham Athletic and Bolton Wanderers. And no offence to Oldham and Bolton fans, we weren't going to pick any from there anyway.
No, I mean I could have had Gunnar Hauer, but
Mm-mm.
oh, But I wasn't. I wasn't going to have Gunnar Howler.
I was thinking of Nathan Blake, and
I often think about Nathan Blake.
as much as Julian Churchill. Yeah.
It's like your mission now to get him into every episode, isn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh
And
no.
let's be honest, apart from Georgie Kincladze, no one would have got a look in from 90 City team.
Yeah, not even Gary Flitcroft.
No. Or you,
Believe it
Dave
or not.
Rossler, wearing his number
No.
28 shirt.
Although Michelle Vonk might have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
Actually, I'm just looking at my team. No,
Yeah, you go
wouldn't.
first. You
No,
want to go
wouldn't.
first?
No, you go for it. No, you. In fact, why don't we do it? We
Position.
pick a goalkeeper each and then right
All
back,
right.
left back. Yeah, how's that?
Yeah. All right. Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
So I think mine's an obvious choice. I've gone for David Seaman in goal.
I was going to, but the rules stipulated couldn't have more than 3 players from the same club.
That's
And I
true.
thought about this long and hard. Do I keep Seaman in? Or
So that the wrong way.
do I let Seaman out? No.
So you're gone with Kevin Hitchcock.
So no, I thought, do I go with Nigel Martin? Do I go with Tim Flowers?
Blackburn. He's got a bottle.
I haven't gone with either of them. And even though he was probably better in the 80s, I've gone with Neville Southall.
Neville Southall.
Absolutely fabulous goalkeeper.
Yeah. And what
Neville
a guy
Southall.
he is as well.
Absolutely. I wanted to go with Les Seeley because Les Seeley was not only my favourite goalkeeper ever, he's my favourite footballer and quite possibly the greatest human being that's ever walked the earth. But I've gone with Neville Southall.
Yeah.
Only because Les Seeley played for United, so I couldn't have him.
Yeah, that's true. Also his 90s Premier League wasn't what he's mainly known for as well.
No, yeah.
So
Neville Southall, my number one.
I'm assuming you've gone for 4-4-2 formation before we carry
Obviously.
on. Yeah,
you can't do one of these all-time things without being 4-4-2. It's just not. It's just not cricket.
Exactly. So what's made it harder again for me is this 3-team limit, this stupid rule which someone came up with.
Who would do that?
Yeah. But for right back, I still think he's a quality right back. Is Dan Petrescu.
That's a great shout.
Yeah.
I went with Lee Dixon.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, obvious shout, really, one of that. Because he crossed my mind, but...
Yeah. Dan Petrescu.
Yeah, Dan Petrescu, yeah. Yeah,
great
when he was...
shout.
Yeah, mainly for his Chelsea time rather than his Sheffield Wednesday time.
Yeah.
That was a good Chelsea team, and I've continued that with my left back choice. But again, I could consider his Blackburn time as well, winning the Premier League there, and that's Graham Lissow at left back.
Went with I've got 2 for this position, and I agree, Graham Lissow. But I think they could also have had Stuart Pearce.
Oh God, Stuart Pearce! Why didn't I think of Pearce?
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of old Psycho?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a tough one, that.
Yeah.
Lissow or Pearce. I'll tell you what, if you've gone for Lissow, I'll go for Stuart Pearce. I've literally written it down.
Yeah.
Lissow / Pearce. So yeah.
I'm guessing Notts Forest Pearce rather than Newcastle Pearce.
100%.
Yeah. That's a great shout, that.
Yeah.
So, centre halves, I've first one. Or shall I do both of them, or just do one each?
Let's do one each, because I think I've got a belter here.
Yeah, I think I've got a belter first one. I've gone for Lucas Radebe.
Ooh. I've gone Tony Adams.
I did have Tony Adams, but because of the quota, that's spoiling who else I could have later on. And I thought,
yeah, I agree.
When I realised I had 4, I thought, which one am I going to take out?
Yeah, Yeah.
But Lucas Radebe, legend at Leeds,
Yeah.
and I'll always remember when he went in goal when Matt beat
Matt
against
Beanie
United at
got.
Old
I
Trafford.
was at that
Matt Beanie
game.
got
Yeah. Matt
he
Beanie got
got
sent
sent off
off.
for handball, deliberate
Yeah.
handball. That's why I think in the FA Cup final, Henderson should have got a red card for deliberate handball because people were saying he should have been sent off because he was the last man, but it was deliberate handball outside the box. He should have been sent off for that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
that rule changed then?
I don't know. I don't know, to be fair. I don't know. Because United played Burton Albion in the League Cup about 1,000 years ago. And in the first few minutes, their keeper caught the ball outside the box and got sent off. And we were all like,
Yeah.
well, that's ruined the game because,
Well, yeah.
at least give them a fighting chance. So, yeah, I don't know.
But
But that was,
it's
it
yeah,
was
it's
years ago, that.
yeah. So it could have changed, but yeah, no, the fact that no one said that made me think has that rule changed. But it's
Don't know.
well,
I don't
anyway.
know the
So
answers to that.
yeah, he had a stormer in net. I could have put him in goal for my team. He did have a stormer. United won 1-0. Roy Keane, if I remember
We
rightly.
did. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but he made quite a few saves in that game.
Yeah, we did. It was
And
really good.
yeah,
Apparently, he used to be a goalkeeper.
so that's probably why they picked
Yeah,
him to
when
be.
in his younger days, he has
Yeah,
played in goal. Right,
I
who
thought
have you
he
got
was a solid
next?
centre half. Yeah, I've got Hugo Wegiog.
Oh, you don't. No, no. I think my team's going to beat your team. Paul McGrath.
See, again, I was picking between those two, but I
I
was
know he
thinking Paul
played for
McGrath
United.
more.
I know
No,
he played
you
for United,
allowed him,
but
but no, you
Aston
allowed
Villa,
him
Paul
because
McGrath was amazing.
but he didn't play for United in the Premier League era, so you're fine anyway.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And didn't play for
But
us in the
yeah,
90s at all.
no,
I don't
I was
think.
thinking Paul McGrath, but I thought his peak was more in the 80s before the Premier League started.
Yeah,
So
but ask
that's
you
why I
speak
went
to
with
any
Hugo
Villa
Wegiog.
fans. You
Oh
speak to
yeah.
any Villa fan, and they'll all tell you Paul McGrath was something else.
But Hugo Wegiog, he
Absolutely.
had also in 98, 99.
Yeah,
Hugo Wegiog signed for was it 98? Yeah, Aston Villa. Not Aston Villa. Sorry, was it Aston Villa?
Middlesbrough.
Yeah, he went to Middlesbrough with Gary
Yeah,
Pallister. That
yeah,
was a good centre. When Middlesbrough went down in '97, they had Janino, Ravanelli, Emerson. They went down
yeah,
because
yeah,
they had no defence. They
yeah,
had Ben Roberts in goal. But then they came back up, and Brian Robson decided to rebuild his defence, and they finished comfortably mid-table. And that
yeah,
partnership of Egiog and Pallister, I thought, played a key part. And that's
yeah,
his time at Villa, especially in the early Premier League era when Villa, they challenged for the title in the first season and were up there again in the second season.
hmm
Um, I thought, that's why I went with Egiog.
yeah. Fair enough. No, no, I like it. Right, what position are
Right.
you going for next?
Go for number 6, centre midfield.
Centre midfield.
Yeah.
Right,
And
okay.
my first centre midfield, the more defensive centre midfield, I've gone for Patrick Vieira. And I don't think I really need to say much there because
No,
it's Patrick
absolute
Vieira.
class. But obviously,
Yeah.
my Arsenal thing, I couldn't because I've gone for one further down, further upfield. My first central midfield, I went with Ruud Gullit.
Yeah. Good call.
Absolute class.
Yeah.
Absolute class. Again, another one. I don't need to say anything else.
No.
Ruud Gullit.
Yeah.
Who
My
else
other
have you
centre
got in your
midfield,
midfield? Yeah.
well, more attacking centre midfielder, not based on him today, based on his football skill, is Matt Letizia.
Yes. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
scores some.
The less said
It,
about Matt Letizia now, the
it's
better. But
Yeah, but he
what a
single-handedly kept
footballer. Yeah.
Southampton
What a
in the league for
footballer.
year after year. He
Yeah.
should have been playing at a bigger club. He would have got more
Yeah.
England caps if he went to United, Arsenal,
I
Liverpool,
think Tottenham
whatever.
was sniffing about, weren't they, for a
Yeah,
while? I think the one that was, if he was ever going to go anywhere, it was going to be Tottenham.
yeah.
But yeah, Letizia, class. Right, I've thrown a bit of a curveball in here for
Go
my
on.
other midfielder. And do you know what? When I say his name, you'll go, do you know what? Yeah, he was a class act. And I've gone with the late great Gary Speed.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I
Gary
agree.
Speed was brilliant.
Yeah.
If he played for you, you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, getting your
He
team.
was just like,
Yeah. At Leeds
he
or
was
Newcastle, wherever, he was brilliant.
so dependable. You know what I mean? I mean, I hate Leeds, all that. I don't care. It's not. I mean,
It's not
for
about that.
this, it's not about
Yeah.
that. Gary Speed was a great player.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous player. He'll
Good
run his
call, that.
tripod for you, and you know he'll just be Gary Speed, and he was
Yeah.
quality.
Great player. He was a
Yeah,
good manager as well, for
yeah,
Wales.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's really
yeah,
sad what happened with him.
yeah.
Yeah, great player. So on the right wing, I've gone for David Ginola.
Ah, right,
So I'll
okay.
go for, and I'm thinking more 98-99 season at Tottenham, David Ginola, where
Yeah,
he won Player of the Year. Although he was great at Newcastle as well, but that year he carried that team. That
see,
was a poor Tottenham team that season, and he carried them.
it's funny if you've said that because I may or may not have put David Schindler on the left
Oh right, okay.
because my right winger, I've gone with Steve McManaman.
Do you know what I was thinking of? Steve McManaman. I was thinking it, and
You know what? You forget how good
he
he
was.
was.
Yeah, he was a top player.
You
I mean,
you forget how good
yeah,
Steve McManaman again. I make no secret of this. I don't like Liverpool very much, but for the purposes of this, it's not
yeah,
about
he's
that.
he's a great player.
Steve
Yeah,
McManaman was brilliant.
fan of him as a player. He's obviously his Liverpool days. He kind of passed it when he was at Man City, but that was in the early
Yeah,
2000s anyway. So
yeah. They love him at
yeah,
Real Madrid.
yeah, he was
They
the
love him.
first high profile English player to go on a Bosman.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was. He was. Quite right.
Yeah, I love that pick. Definitely
Yeah.
for my left winger though, because you've gone for Ginola, I've gone for Mark Overmars.
Yes. And once again, that was one I looked at. The whole Arsenal
Yeah.
thing. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, he was my third Arsenal player and
Yeah.
final one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought I remember him at Ajax, and I thought and I said I'd love to see him at United, but we had Ryan Giggs in the same position. But I loved Mark Overmars. I was gutted when he went to Arsenal.
Yeah. I agree.
Just because not I have any dislike with Arsenal. It's at the time Man United and Arsenal were the top two, and he was going to help them out a lot, and he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Quite really. Well, he scored the goal at Old Trafford, didn't he, in
yeah,
98? Yeah, 98. Must have been 98.
yes, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think because one year Kanu got the goal, but I think that was 2002, and
Yeah. No,
when he got
98
the goal.
must have been
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
late on in the season.
Right, forwards. So for my number 9,
There's
no
only one.
brainer, Alan Shearer.
Correct. Yeah.
We don't need to talk much about it. He's a top Premier League, still all-time top goal scorer. Brilliant
Correct.
goal scorer. Can score from anywhere. Operation. I'll bleep that out.
Yeah.
Absolute quality player, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise that he decided to go to Newcastle above Man United for Man United's sake, because we probably wouldn't have signed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Do you know what? I honestly think if United had signed Alan Shearer, would have won the European Cup more.
Or earlier.
United would have won it and would have won it a few more
Yeah, maybe.
times.
Yeah, I think
I
if we would have
honestly think
signed
that.
him, we probably wouldn't have signed Dwight York, which was 2 years later that we signed Dwight
Yeah.
York. And Andy Cole might have gone before then. But,
Yeah.
if and buts are
But
candy and nuts, I don't know how that poem ends.
I mean, it's funny though, isn't it? Because we say, oh, we wouldn't have signed him. We wouldn't have mattered because Alan Shearer was just absolutely unreal. Imagine him.
Yeah,
He'd have won the European Cup, the league, everything with United. 100%.
yeah. In the 90s,
100%.
he was the best Premier League
Yeah.
striker, bar none.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
competition for it.
Yeah. I
He
agree.
was just head and shoulders above. And I remember
I agree.
back in the 90s, there were 3 strikers that I loved. Alan Shearer was one of them. Gabriel Batistuta,
Yeah. Yeah.
can't have him in this, and the original Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Those 3.
Yeah. I've actually seen all 3 score at Old Trafford.
And obviously none of them for United, and none of them play for
Yeah,
United.
yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel Betsy, a Fiorentina legend.
Oh,
Ronaldo,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, brilliant
Absolutely
player.
phenomenal.
I don't think he's talked about enough these days. And
Batistuta.
Batistuta, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. He scored one of the greatest goals I've ever seen as an opposing player at Old Trafford. And I've never seen a ball hit so hard,
yeah,
ever. And someone on Facebook the other day said to me, Bosnich should have saved it. I said, mate, that ball was hit at about 7,000 miles an hour. Bosnich should have gone in with it.
yeah. They got through his hands.
Schmeichel would have saved it. No, he wouldn't. No, he would. You could have had Schmeichel, Yashin, and Dino Zoff in
And it
goal
would have gone in.
together, and that'd have gone in. That ball just goes like it just moves like we're sort of on the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
And funnily enough, this guy was talking about it on Facebook, and the lad who sits next to me now was sat next to me that night as well, as he has done for actually 30 years. And I showed him the message, and he just looked at it and went, "He's a madman."
yeah,
That goal from Batistuta was absolutely. We stood up and applauded. He
yeah,
was that good.
yeah.
But he can't be in this team because he didn't
He
play in the
never played in
Premier
the
League.
Premier League. No.
So who's your last striker?
Gianfranco Zola.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout, and it's one I
I
did think of. But
he came to me later on, Gianfranco Zola. I thought he's so loved at Chelsea. I
yeah,
remember they got him 3.5 million from Parma. What a
yeah,
signing! Absolute
yeah,
bargain of a signing. And again, it goes back to when people cared
totally
about
agree.
England games. I remember he scored for Italy against England in the World Cup qualifier at Wembley, 1-0.
Ian Walker was in goal.
Ian Walker was in goal, yeah. And the next match for Chelsea, he got booed by the Chelsea fans.
Yeah, yeah,
See, that's
yeah.
people. That'll never happen today. It shouldn't
No,
have happened then, to be fair, but
no,
it
but
proves my point of what we were talking about earlier. But I just thought
yeah,
I'd bring that up.
yeah.
But yeah, what a play! I mean, he was just a genius on the ball,
Oh, he
and I
was
think,
in a
like,
lovely fella as well.
yeah. And Alan Shearer is like, with him up front, Alan Shearer is just an out and out goal scorer.
Yeah,
And Gianfranco Zola could just do anything from nothing. How many goals would he set up for Alan Shearer as well in that team?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah,
So
that's a good shout. That.
yeah,
So I've gone with my third Arsenal player. And as much as I'd love to say Bergkamp, I'm not going to.
think I know where you're going then. It's got, well, there's only one it can be.
Yeah, it's Kevin Campbell. No, Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Ian Wright doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No, he's a brilliant, absolute genius goal scorer.
Absolutely amazing goal scorer.
Yeah.
If you watch his goals back and you're like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. He was class.
I agree. He was in my first draft, but I had like about 6 Arsenal players in my first draft. So
you look at that England team around that sort of 98, whatever it was, and imagine having some of those strikers now.
yeah, those
rather than having
options.
them all back then. There was like there was a flood of them,
Yeah.
and you can only play 2.
Yeah. And these days, only one. And
Yeah,
still struggle with that. Well, apart from Harry Kane.
Yeah, but who else? I mean, Ollie Watkins, maybe.
Yeah, got Ollie Watkins.
But
Yeah.
you think about, say, 98, Michael Owen, Alan Shearer, Ian Wright.
Yeah, Teddy Sheringham.
Andy Cole. Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, Robbie Fowler. Yeah,
They're
he was
6.
another one who was in
They're
one of my
6
drafts.
straight away.
And that wasn't
any of
without
those
much
6,
thought.
Exactly. Any of those 6, if they'd have played, you'd go, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to partner Shearer? You know, because he just walked in. Well, he was the captain by 98, wasn't he?
I think Sheringham was the right choice because, again, he was the classic number 10 to Shearer's number 9. And the others you mentioned, I think, were pretty much all number 9s.
Yeah. But not false 9s.
But not false nines, no. Real salt of the
Actual
earth.
factual number nines.
Proper, yeah, real salt of the earth. Nines of the people. The
People
people's
nine.
nine, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's my team. I
And
actually
that's a
had
t-shirt.
I I actually had Ian Wright / Dennis Bergkamp, and it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, Bergkamp's got
But I
absolute
just
quality.
think I just wanted to put Ian Wright in because I
Yeah.
quite like him as well. I
Yeah,
like him. I think
yeah,
he's
I
all
do
right.
enjoy him. Yeah, and he's a big advocate for the women's game as well.
Fair play to him.
So,
Yeah, I think if Ian Wright was here now, I think he'd be all right. I think he'd be
we
a
won't
really
stop.
nice bloke.
I think we won't stop laughing.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Oh, we'll be here till about 3 a.m. filming this.
Yeah, we might be. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only reason I want Hayes to get to the first round proper of the FA Cup, get a TV game, and Ian Wright could possibly, if he's on. I think it's is it
Imagine.
ITV that he does.
Yeah, ITV and what else does he do? I don't know. He does the one with Gary Neville, doesn't he? He does the Gary Neville program.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's a bit like this but not as good.
Yeah, yeah, because that's why he was at Salford a couple of months ago.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's nice anyway, Gary.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck to you, mate.
Yeah. Just your little podcast there. Your millions of pounds.
One day you'll make it.
Yeah, with your millions of pounds and Premier League commentary, your EFL club that you own, and yeah.
One day he'll be like us.
Yeah, I've got something he's not. I've got a countdown pen.
I've got my integrity.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry, Gary. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, we do love you, really.
Not that you're ever gonna watch this or anything.
No.
So it's quite all right. No. Oh dear.
Anyway, so that's it.
That's your lot. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, so the next show, it's going to be near to the end of July in the week leading up to the new season. So highlights of matches that are not on yet from last season. Each week a new one's going to be uploaded, and that should work up right up until the new season starts. So we should be getting a game every week non-stop until we get bad weather and postponements coming, which we didn't have last season too much, so you never know.
Yeah, so fingers crossed.
Match day will be back for pre-season. We're expecting that to be at the beginning of July. We have not officially had pre-season friendlies announced. We kind of have on the side, but I don't think they've been officially announced, so I'm not going to say much just yet. And again, please consider subscribing to the channel. It won't cost you anything. You'll really be helping the club out, and you could be walking down the street thinking, yeah, I've done my bit for non-league football. So anyway, Brownie, any last words?
Goodbye.
TTFN.